We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, other times we go deep. And today we go pretty deep. We're kind of scattershot throughout this episode. You'll see in a moment when we start the episode. I want you to pay close attention to at least the first 5 to 8 minutes of this episode because we are going to do a charity initiative. Yes, if you are in a position to give and you have given already to some sort of coronavirus or COVID-19 relief, we're talking about $50 or more. You will have the opportunity to pick anything from our merch store for free. The details are in the episode, but here it is right now. Giving at squawkingdead.com. Send your receipts over. Also, not in the video. Just now thought of it. But if you are a healthcare professional, just email me at giving@squawkingdead.com. I will work something out with you. Don't worry. You guys deserve something. So, just have at it. Hit my pocket where it hurts. You deserve it. You deserve a reward. You deserve some sort of Squawking Dead merchandise to supplement. So, again, that email address to send your receipts of $50 or more, or a combination thereof of $50 or more, giving@squawkingdead.com. If you are a healthcare professional, email me at giving@squawkingdead.com. Give me your name, your profession, send me a couple pictures of you on the job if you can, or something like that. We'll work something out. You will get merch for free. 1 item per household. I should explain myself. The episode in question has a little bit of a problem with my mic. We've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings at home, not related to Squawking Dead. We just had Passover, and I did Passover with my in-laws. And we did it over Zoom. We took the laptop out of my usual situation here. We used the onboard mic. We plugged it back in, and I did not know that my mic was set to about 100%. So I did some trickery. I got it to a point to where it's acceptable, but it is kind of funky. Bear with. Hang in there. It's okay, I hope. So forgive me in the meantime. What else? Sorry that this episode is premiering so late. We recorded it last Friday. It was ready to go. Just was Passover hitting and basically going back to work on Monday, Easter. It was a little difficult to get to finishing the editing on time. But here it is. Finally, CosmoMom09 is in the chat right now. I will be in the chat right now as the episode airs. So when you submit your live chat comments, I will be there to respond to them. We can talk about anything right now. The audio is like the shipping. It's ridiculous. Yes, my audio is ridiculous. Thanks, Tom. Anyway, so without further ado, I will premiere the episode. If I think of anything else, and as usual lately, this episode's not that long. It's not as long as our usuals. So when the episode finishes, head over to Instagram. I will still be live on Instagram to do a little wrap up, a little chit chat with you guys. If you have any questions that you want to talk to me directly in the live chat with me talking at your face, I will be there. But in the meantime, here's the episode on all streaming platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Mixer, and Periscope. Yes, we're back on Instagram, as some of you can see. So see you on Instagram after the episode, and away we go. We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news. Sometimes we make you laugh. Most times. And sometimes we try to go deep and it doesn't quite work out, but sometimes it does. And when it does, you stick around. And we're here with CosmoMom09 and OG Squawking D, Carol G, and me, David Cameo. We're your hosts. And on the chat so far is Carlin from Instagram. How you doing? Yeah, and you could be here too. And as a matter of fact, I did something very interesting before we continue. I decided, all by my lonesome, as I usually do,
I've given everybody the opportunity to join us publicly. So, yes, you as a backer. What is a backer, though? Wait, hold on a second. What is a backer? Normally, we make it so that backers can join us in the chat as we pre-record this episode to be aired publicly in the future. I decided to allow everybody to join us on Zoom as we record the episode. Now, backers do receive the unedited copies and the backup YouTube stream of me fiddling around with my microphone and video camera right before you two join. However, they'll still receive that perk. But what is a backer? Well, coffee backers are people who support the podcast by buying us a coffee. Whether it's a one-off or a subscription, like a monthly subscription, it keeps the party going. They get unedited copies of each of our recordings. They're with us in the real-time chat normally, but as far as this pandemic is concerned, I've made it so that you guys can join us. Every time we do a recording session. I want to make it so that you guys are better connected with us as this thing goes on, because people are suffering financially and socially. And as I've been kind of like in my own head the last week, whether it's during like one of the busiest work weeks I've ever had, and then suddenly not at all because it's Passover. So I've been off for the last 2 days, Thursday, Friday. I've been thinking about this a lot, and like sometimes I lay in bed and I'm like thinking, and I'm having a hard time falling asleep because, like there's a part of me that just wants to be out. Wants to be out of the house, which is unusual because I'm usually in the house. So, and I feel it from others as well. People are just, first of all, people are posting all sorts of inanity, like just all sorts of useless nonsense junk, because I know people want to reach out and connect with other people. They want to just make people laugh or try to lighten the mood, or sometimes, they're just also kind of, they need to blow off some steam. They're a little frustrated. People are angry. And it's all the spectrums of emotion. So I kind of want to give people an outlet to kind of chat with us while we're recording our shows. And so I want to make that free at least until at least the New York City stay-at-home order is like lifted. And then after that, we can talk. We can talk about it. Another thing, our merch store is on sale. I have not promoted it yet, but I'm going to be doing a social media push on basically the following. If you are in the position to actually help other people by giving to other, basically organizations that need your help during this pandemic, I want to make it so that anybody who's able to give $50 or more to whatever charity qualifies, and I'm leaving it a little bit more open-ended. If you give $50 or more, send me the receipt, and I will give you the pick of the litter from the merch store. The reason why I'm doing this is because I see a lot of people say, if you buy this t-shirt, the proceeds go to whatever charity. And I was thinking to myself, that makes no sense. Because I know from the back end, first of all, if you're charging a t-shirt that's like $30, okay, maybe 10 of those dollars, maybe, or 15, go to the actual charity. With our store, the prices are so low and we have sales lately, so literally $1 or maybe $2 would go to that charity. So I'm thinking to myself, I'll put my money where my mouth is. If you spend $50, that goes straight to the charity, minus whatever costs that they have for their front end and their promotion and all that stuff. All that goes to charity. I will put my money where my mouth is. You get something from the merch store for free, whatever you want, one item per household. Done, one and done, and you can't do it anymore. But if you want to give more, please give more. I mean, you're not giving because of us. That's another thing. I just figure if you're going to do it anyway, you might as well get rewarded for it. So take us up on the offer.
So what are you waiting for? Send your receipts over to giving@squawkingdead.com. That's giving@squawkingdead.com.
This week's episode is technically the season finale. We waited a little while because we were all mourning the loss, the sudden loss, the semi-cliffhanger that ended off this episode. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to turn it over to Carol. Pick a place that you find that you like the most about this episode, and then we'll find our way around.
You know what? This was one of those episodes that was pretty, to me, on a level plane. There were different stories happening at the same time, but it was all pretty level to me because this felt like a setup episode, which it was.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was like, okay, we're setting everything in motion. And then you get the impression, obviously, then in the next episode is where, okay, everything starts to kind of like, happen. So this episode, we see like everything kind of set in motion. It's like, all right, Negan makes up with Lydia. Well, not makes up with Lydia, but they have their moment, which I thought was really cool. Like that probably to me was like what stood out the most. No, actually, what am I saying? Like Princess. Negan for sure stood out. But I big fan of Princess. Big fan. Because like
I wonder why.
Well, in the moment she stepped on stage, it's like that would be me during the apocalypse. Like, oh my god, hi!
And just as crazy, I have to imagine, after being alone for so long.
Who would he be? Like, who would not be? Like, I mean, the fact that she still has any sort of sense of humor, she's like, I got hair dye, I got like, it's like, I really appreciated that her whole segment because it had that comic relief that was I really enjoyed. I think that it's nice because she's definitely going to bring a different energy. Both Ezekiel and Eugene kind of see a little bit of themselves in her. King Ezekiel had to stop himself from calling himself like, Ezekiel, like, because it's like, forget it. Like, if you would have said that, she would have been like, oh my God.
Oh my God, old guy. Yeah. I don't call myself a queen because it sounds a bit old.
Sounds a little matronly.
And pretentious.
Yeah. Pretentious, yeah.
Hi, I'm Ezekiel.
It's like,
You can call me Zeke.
yeah. And everything else felt like it was setting up for what's going to happen.
And what big emotional beats too, like weaved in between or sandwiched in between this princess sandwich. It's like you have this like meat of like these big tearjerker emotional scenes, and then like you have this pink bread.
Yeah, that's like, okay, we're gonna go through a minefield, and it's like, wait a second, we could have, like, we were just there. We could have just walked down the street. We didn't have to go through this. Well,
to be perfectly honest, as I was going through the princess scenes myself, like it's just you just have to stand and just sit there and watch it unfold, because it's just one-liner after one-liner, reaction after.
Funny. It's just funny. I appreciate it.
You're like almost watching stagecraft. You're like every facial expression, like the whole like. that's the sort of thing she did with her eyes while she was covering her mouth. Is that for the audio podcast, everybody? Asthma.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sorry. It's gonna be a running gag, folks.
Oh my God.
Giving her like room to breathe was such a cool thing to watch. When Eugene says she's on a mission, she goes, "Woo!"
Yeah, she's like, "Woo, okay, sounds awesome. I'm in."
I'm like trying to figure out what was ad-libbed and what wasn't.
Yeah, no
awesome.
kidding.
Awesome.
She did so good at capturing this character. I mean, Carol, I know you and I have been so excited to meet this character for so long because of how she's portrayed in the comics. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think I can speak for both of us. I am so happy.
Happy.
She did such a great job. She really, really brought this character from the pages right to the screen.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Like everything.
Love it. Yes.
She's done a really good job.
Yes. Just like delusionally happy for no reason. I love it.
She's a pretty good reason. It's like, I have a chance to do this over again.
Yeah.
Redo.
I mean, she's alive. That's a reason, I suppose. But yeah, yeah.
But the fan response is what really takes me away, because blows me away, because like holy shit, backflips over backflips after merch, people selling T-shirts that I don't even know are legal, by the way. Like I've been seeing them pop up everywhere. Some of them, I mean, I don't think they're from Skybound, aka AMC, aka
Probably not.
People just selling shit online. It's just it's a firestorm of like illegal merch.
I could see that.
Yikes.
So yeah, but the fan art's great. The edits are great. I love Princess. I haven't said a word about it, but yeah, I love Princess too. And it's like it's almost enough to kind of make me just distract me from the fact that this was episode 15, aka the season finale, aka oh shit, cliffhanger, where's our special? Almost, I said. Almost. It is kind of a big character, and like now that we're talking about it, like, okay, it makes me feel a little bit better. Because then we're going to see her in the next episode. We know she's going to be a part of this new mission. Woo! That's something to look forward to. And even though like I kind of want it here now, can I have it now? Can it be Sunday? Can it be now? Like I can maybe wait a little while because that's a lot of personality for a little while.
It's a lot of personality.
Yeah. It's funny, like you said, that was exactly you in the apocalypse. I literally wrote that in my notes. Not only because like of heritage and stuff like that. I know you're not Puerto Rican. You're not Puerto Rican, right? Are you? No, you're Dominican, right?
Yeah. But it's just that sort of like she reminded me of some kind of like if you were
like a friend of mine. I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Like a friend of mine.
You're trying not to say that.
I know. I'm trying not to say it. But I'm like, yeah, if you took one of my friends and basically like they kind of hung out in the old neighborhood and like they were the only ones left, and it's like this is it.
Right. Because there's a lot to that. And I figure I'm so glad you're here because we can really pick this shit apart because a lot of what people don't understand, Yumiko asked this herself, if she's like trustworthy, why is she still here if she's been alone for a year? You know what I mean? Like, what's her angle, right? And I'm just thinking of you, and I'm like, woo! I mean,
where do you go?
Where do you go? What do you do? You're a city kid. It's this huge difference between like that and a city kid, you know?
Yeah, like she may not be. Yeah, she may not be marshaled to be like a Daryl that can live out in the woods, just kind of like surviving. Like that may not be her strong suit, So like she's kind of stayed where she knows and she's comfortable. She probably knows where to get her supplies. She knows where to get this and that. So why risk it? Especially by herself. She doesn't have anybody to basically have her back. So why even risk it?
She hasn't had a reason to leave or run. So why would she?
Why would
I'd
you?
stay there too.
Yeah.
And it does make sense, like, she would be there alone, too. Like, so that's the thing, like, every time and we've been talking a lot about, like, zombie survival in the last couple of weeks. And it's kind of like, everybody seems to have a take on what it takes. And like, oh, you have to go out into the country, which does make sense. But then I keep thinking back to Princess. I'm like, what if they didn't? What if what if whoever was with her left her behind because you're hard to love? And like, all right, maybe it's just me. And then like you stay behind and you make the most of it. And you actually somehow 10 years later, which is another thing, because how old would you say is Paola Lazaro right now as an actor, the person?
In real life?
Yeah.
I would guess
probably in her 30s.
30. I would say between 33 and 35.
Yeah, 35 maybe.
She's 32.
Yeah, so there you go, in that range.
Okay, and when this whole thing went down, she was 22, let's say. Let's say about 20, 30, right?
Okay.
So so what I was doing, because I thought she was like a little younger, like maybe 17, and like maybe she's 27 now. So like when this shit all went down, she was a teenager. And so what does she know any better, right?
Right, yeah.
And if everybody left her alone, and like she's been alone for a year, I think she's been alone for a lot longer than that. But she just can't tell what day it is. So
that could be too.
She's thinking it's a year, but it's probably way more.
Very possible.
So in that being the case, okay, so she's been alone for maybe at least, like, I don't know, 7, maybe 8, maybe 6 years, let's say. Okay, she's coming out of being a teenager into like her early 20s, like still kind of in development. So like maybe, and going mad during those years kind of sticks a little bit, so that personality becomes you. So it explains everything about her.
I would say that.
She had to talk to were walkers.
At princess tea parties.
Right? Not very good conversationalists, I don't think they are.
No.
And if all you know is the city too, which is a whole other bag of wax.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's kind of cool to see her kind of navigate that terrain and so well. Like, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys thought of this, but like, do you remember when Rick went to Atlanta? And we're talking about like Princess right now. She was so adept, and she must have been adept to kind of navigate her. Like, was this Philly? No, it's not. It's Charleston, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, so downtown Charleston, West Virginia, or something, and then like she's like able, like, no horses or tanks and getting stuck under these things. She's okay, And like Rick, who's like probably out in the exurbs or the suburbs or probably exurbs, you know, that's his terrain. And so when he goes to the city, he's all fucked.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like cool kind of seeing these parallels, especially because Rick is mentioned in this episode in a, you know, hindsight kind of way as well.
I'd like to be Chris for a moment.
Oh, what do you hate about this episode?
So when they're walking through the minefield and she has to keep count and everything.
Yes.
And she says repeatedly, I've done this 1 billion times. I've done this 1,000,000 times. I've done this so many times. Wouldn't your brain, your body, your everything have that muscle memory to remember the path that you've taken 1 billion times?
Oh, I can answer that question though. I don't know if you can, Carol. But you ever write a song for somebody and you practice it backwards and forwards, you know it by heart? You know how it is in the dark. You know how it is in your head. You know, you play it in your head over and over again. Yeah, that's me.
once the pressure's on, it's gone.
Oh my God. You get up there, you're standing not 1 foot away from the person who the song is about. It's kind of a love song, but it's kind of a friend song, and you're shaking. You know, this is me. This is me we're talking about. It's not you.
But you get through it, don't you?
Oh, you do, but it's awful. It sounds awful. It doesn't sound like it does in your head. What's that?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I've never written a song, but besides writing, I've been in that situation. I didn't write it.
It's one thing if you're singing it for a crowd, which I did tons of times. But like sometimes with some people, depending on the song, when it's only you and them right in front of them, there is a thing that happens where it becomes real.
Do you think it's because you wrote it though? Like you have more invested in this song. I've been on stage my whole life. I've performed in front of billions of people probably over my lifetime. But I don't like when I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't. I mean, I have stage fright, but I push through.
Here's the equivalent. Okay, have you ever just performed for let's say, your dad only?
Yeah.
And how'd that go? There's a bit of like pressure, right?
Well, my dad's probably not the best example. My dad's like to do these.
That time.
I know. Well, well, first of all, my dad's been gone almost 16 years now, so my dad hasn't been around for a long time. But when I was younger in high school, he'd always want to have these jam sessions with me, right? He'd play his guitar, and then he'd want me to play my flute. And I'm like, I don't think guitar and flute really. He's like, yeah, just come on, just start hammering out some notes. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. But he would always try. He always wanted to have these silly little jam sessions, and yeah. So that might be similar to what you're saying. I couldn't perform in that situation. I couldn't just make it up.
But yeah, there's like, that is part of it too. It's like you're pressured like in the moment by your dad.
No,
but yeah, there's like different there's different levels, right? Like it's different when it's a whole crowd and then just one person.
Yeah.
So my point being is like she's like a lot's riding on her, like getting this right, and even though she's done it, let's say maybe 1 billion times, something else to this. Like, okay, a lot's riding on this right now. I gotta be perfect.
That was that moment. I'm like, really? Like, you've done this 1 billion times. Like, if everybody would just shut up, she could probably just go blip, 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 and then follow her. Like, Yumiko was probably giving her the most pressure. I was not. Yeah, I was not happy with Yumiko.
Yumiko was giving me a lot of pressure.
Yumiko was tough.
Right?
She was tough.
Although this was a good situation for her to be in, right? Because Magna's always telling her, you can't control things. Mm-hmm. Wow, can she not? I mean, hello, you're standing in the middle of a minefield right now. Like, that's the situation Yumiko needed to be in.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and particularly like when you bring up Magna too, okay? Like I was going to bring this near the end, but it's kind of like when it's revealed, like, okay, she brings her to a bicycle shop and she does come through. Yumiko is the first person to surprise her and say, hey, we could use someone like you with us or something.
She invites her along. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was surprising.
I loved when she jumped and gave her a hug. That was awesome. She was like, oh God, don't touch me.
That frozen hug thing.
Yeah.
Imagine it was frozen like that for you. Like, but my bandwidth isn't so great. Anyway, sorry, I have a thing in my head. I can't get it out. All three of those people, like we mentioned, like the different ways in which these people are perfect for meeting Yumiko, because we eventually see that Eugene, it makes sense because that dude lied about everything and did not have a garage to come through. He was living on a prayer. And yet, like, Princess did come through, even though she was also living on a prayer. And Zeke, the fake it till you make it kind of guy, what does Princess do? Fakes it till she makes it.
Yeah.
And she succeeds, just like him.
Yeah.
Since are they part of the same royal family? I don't know. So Yumiko, though, she's a sleeper, though, because, I mean, what is her group? And how many times have they lied to, let's say, Tara, or, like, let's say, Michonne? Mostly Magna. Let's be real here.
Mostly, yeah.
But she knows what it's like to, and, you know, speaking of Magna, she knows what it's like to have to cover for her, or to say, well, sorry about that, etc., 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 etc. But it's like, it does bring you back to what Magna says. I was never something to fix. You know, like I was never something that was broken to be fixed. And so when she looks at Princess with these eyes, like this new kind of way of looking at things, like, well, you're not broken. You know, you're you. And this whole episode is about you being you. Have you noticed that? Let's roll the tape. We've got Kelly and Carol, and all Kelly is basically saying is that you be you. Don't let bad shit happening stop you from being you. What does Daryl say to Judith? Daryl says, no one can take the place of someone you love being gone, but that doesn't mean everything that follows is going to break your heart. Things don't have to change. You know, you can still maintain these people in your heart, but, you know, it doesn't mean that you change being the lovely you that you are. So what is Beta thinking right now? I don't have to change for shit. These people are dead meat.
Well, I like the correlation of Princess talking about, like, oh, are you guys real? Am I hallucinating or whatever? Because Beta's hallucinating the whole episode.
Oh, shit.
He's like hearing like the walkers talk to him and instruct him or whatever. I'm like, he obviously is like far gone, like really far gone. Like he's on another level. But it's funny that Princess is like, wait, is this really happening? Am I hallucinating? Are you guys real? Are you guys really talking to me? Okay. All right. You know, but it's kind of interesting, you know.
She's at least questioning it.
Yeah, exactly. She's questioning her sanity. Like, is this, you know, for real? Is this not? Beta's just gone.
Maybe they're saying the same things in their head. Faith, reward, Asper.
It was really weird that the voice led him to where he needed to go, though.
Oh, yeah. That was creepy as fuck.
That was really creepy. I mean...
And you heard this, too. Every time Beta has an insight, there's like that little pan flute thing in the background. Did you not hear this in the score? So when the cat was scoring across... Oh my god. Because I've watched this episode 5 times, and every time I hear that flute, I laugh my ass off, because it sounds like some hokey, like, Vision Quest sound, like, that you would have in a teepee or something. It was so funny. But this whole season's been doing that, like, just subtly, like, as if it's kind of like, the music director's like, watch this, I'm going to put the exact same notes in the Goonies in a trumpet form. Nobody's going to know a thing. We know, and we love you for it.
Yeah.
Oh, and Carlin's saying, yeah, that music was pretty scary, right? The whole whisper music is scary as hell. And by the way, yeah, Beta's theme just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Which, it's kind of like the Negan theme. Every now and again we would hear it, but it would get, like, bigger and bigger as and you still get Negan's theme throughout this, when he was trying to become a Whisperer. If you have the original soundtrack from Bear McCreary, he has his own theme. And so every now and again, if you rewatch episodes where Negan be Neganing, then you'll hear that little, it's what it is, it's like a bass guitar, but loosely strung. It goes like a chugga 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 chugga, and there's like a lot of reverb. That's Negan's theme.
Okay.
I didn't describe it exactly. Well, no, sorry. The thing that I really, really loved about this episode that makes it like so singular, and I know they've done this before, they had to have done this before, and if not, I'm okay with being wrong. No, like, last time on The Walking Dead. They were like, you know what I mean? There's no intro. They just launched right into the episode, like no recap, and they just continued where they left off, which is great for like the binge watch generation, right? Because it just
I did appreciate that.
Right?
It just picked up right where it left off.
I mean, this show is slowly turning into like, well, if we can't get him in the live watch, we'll get him in the binge watch. You know, like... But it's true. It's really, really true. Like, I noticed they were kind of doing that with, like, starting from last year. Like, with Scars, it was just, the mood was just this singular mood that just, if you just watched it straight through without commercials, uncut, it's haunting. With the commercials cut it up, it was just awful. But, like, this episode, going right into it, ass to mouth, it was really cool. Like, it was really cool to just see it keep going. Like, oh, wait, what? But there's no recap. Okay, well, shh, quiet. And then it just keeps going. Which is interesting because, but when you see the opening credits and you get to the Walking Dead logo, it is completely on fire. I don't know if you've noticed it. At the beginning of the season, the fire's kind of just...
I noticed it.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, now, like... Yeah. Before you even, like, noticed it, the whole thing is, like, you know, lit up in embers.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, there's a little green on top at first in the beginning of the season, but there's a little fire at the bottom. And then episode 8, it's, like, a little, like, right here. But, like, now it's just, like, it's all red. Well, not all red, but, you know.
So I'm actually pretty excited to talk about a certain scene with, well, the scene with Daryl and Judith. And then the whisper that they have to kill and how distraught Judith is when they leave her behind.
Right.
It was just really, like, it was really heavy to watch because obviously Daryl's done this hundreds of times. Yeah. Like, this is normal. This is necessary. But now Judith is, like, stopping him and, like, questioning this. Why do we do that? And of course, in her mind, she's thinking, well, what if that was you? What if you were out, someone found you, killed you, and just left you there? We would never know. You know what I mean? And I obviously I get where she's coming from, but how do you justify that? How does Daryl justify that?
Right.
I couldn't think of a way.
Well, there's even more than you think. Like, this is the Rick Grimes reference that I was talking about, in a ditch. Where does Michonne try to find Rick? In a ditch by the riverbank. And she's looking for him all these years, and she can never find him. Mm-hmm. And just when you know it, she radios in and says, hey, I think I may know where he is. And she's watching Daryl take out this whisperer, and for all we know, somebody else could have done the same thing to her father, but, you know, like, he could have had a family. Yeah. Or she could have had a family. Oops. And we could be talking about the same thing. And, like, in this conversation, she's talking about how she's trying to not to say, oh, she's off, you know, helping people.
Right.
But we know what the mission is about, and she can't tell him about it because she knows Michonne said, don't tell Uncle Daryl because he's going to want to come after me, and it's dangerous. We need him there.
He needs to stay there, yeah.
Right. And so it does kind of make you think, like, what if? Like, what if the CRM group just said, hey, you're an A. Nah, actually, you're a Z. And then, like, you know, done. Yep. You know, you're not worth it. Well, it's kind of like what we're talking about with Michonne. Is like, is Michonne ready to go after Rick? Is she in the right mindset? Because she's not ready to help people that much as for Showa. But she decided not to help Andrea in her dreamscape.
But then she helps the two characters at the end of the episode. So
right.
By the end, we do see her helping out.
Right, because she goes through this process. You know, like
her vision quest.
Her vision quest. She resets her brain from her addiction. Now we're seeing kind of the same thing going on with Daryl a little bit, like he's not ready for it yet. But I don't know, like, you can't blame Daryl at the same time. There's, like, something that happens in that scene where he's interrogating the Whisperer, and she says, And I would probably feel the same way. She goes, don't leave me like this. I want to be able to walk with them or whatever. Or don't kill me. I want to be able to walk with them. And it's just kind of like, oh, fuck that shit. One less walker to worry about.
Yep. So she was also very concerned with the bolt stuck in her. She's like, take this out. It's unnatural. What? Explain that one to me. Seems pretty natural. I mean, you got shot in the woods.
I'm trying to figure out if she meant the bolt in her arm or or just killing her is unnatural, or I don't know, or taking air out before so that she doesn't walk.
Yeah, I didn't fully understand her point of the whole thing, other than she wanted to be a guardian afterwards. And I would have done the same. Hell no, absolutely not. Nope, you are not gonna be a guardian. Sorry.
Nope.
And she's certainly not coming back with us because she obviously still has the cuckoo brain.
Exactly.
Right?
She's like,
and when Judith brings up, well, what if she had a family? Okay, obviously in this specific instance, we know she didn't. She was a whisperer. Know they don't have emotion. They're not supposed to. You know what I mean? We know where she came from, and she doesn't have a family the way Rick does. And if that's what Judith was trying, kind of picturing, what if this was my dad, or what if this was somebody I loved? They don't have the connection relationships the way normal humans do. So Daryl could have explained at least that part to her and said, well, she's a whisperer. They don't do that. They don't really care about each other. They kill each other off all the time.
Right. Well, you know what's really funny about what you were just saying is that it's in essence, Daryl's basically saying that to her, though. No, their system is the same as ours. I'll explain. Daryl basically says family's what you make of it. What are the whisperers? Family is kind of like who you're next to. It could be a walker, could be a guardian, could be your best friend. Yeah, it's all the same. No,
we can see it that way. But it's not supposed to have emotions. You know what I mean? Which is, why they don't care when one of them dies, or
they do, but only if they end up walking afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If they do die, they're
right. But there's a deeper conversation to be had here. It's like the Olive Garden. Whispers are like the Olive Garden. When you hear, hey, you're here. Sorry, you're in it for the long haul.
You're here.
When you hear, you're going to the bathroom. Sorry.
Over there on the edge of camp.
The latrine. Alpha's latrine. Anyway, we're not animals, but we are animals. Anyway.
Sorry, I just pictured falling into shit again and gagged.
Right. No, but there is a segue to go into a deeper point here, because this kind of goes back to Judith in that her mom's gone, her dad's gone, her brother's gone. All she's got is RJ as a blood relative. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No, they share
No.
no, they don't. No, they don't. No.
You're right. They just.
I mean, again, still her brother, still not even a half brother. But anyway, we're not talking about that.
Judith hasn't had any parents since she was born.
Yeah.
I mean, for a half a second. She had a real brother? Yeah, she had a real brother. Or a blood brother.
Yeah, Carl.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
so until she was 3,
her and Carl had the same mom.
2. Everybody that cared for her on an intimate level is gone. Essentially. And so she's sitting there look, and Lydia kind of brings it up, and which is why she leaves, is not everybody's blessed to have a mother like you. Meanwhile, her mother's not around, and so it's kind of it reminds you that she's still whatever it is, 10, and she's missing her mommy, and everybody she loves is kind of pawing off, and she's afraid that why did my dad leave? Why does my mom have to go after him? Is everybody else going to leave? And now Daryl's kind of apart from everybody, and searching for the perimeter, but she's noticing that Daryl's kind of still kind of going on the margins. Carol's not the same as she was. She's all fucked up. It's who's next? Oh, well, Carlin is saying I agree, he did what had to be done, but I think she's still confused, Exactly.
Well, yeah, she's still a kid. I mean, it's going to take time and experience for her to really understand what's going on.
Right.
But, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
She'll
yeah,
get
like
there.
on a surface level, like Daryl is definitely right. Like these are people that you.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they're on a certain to a certain extent you can't like. That's what I like. Like I want to. I was feeling what Judith was feeling in the moment, like how it must be like to see things through her eyes, and we see this twice already. You know, I'm sorry for your mom. Like, you know, even though it's pretty complicated, and she gets put down by Lydia because of it, and she's just a kid. And then Daryl, like, obviously Daryl's right, but we're older. You know, we get it. We've been 10 seasons into this. But Judith has not been 10 seasons into this. You know,
Right.
so how it must be to see things from her eyes, even though she probably knows deep down maybe this is right, but isn't this kind of like going against what Daryl was saying before, just a couple episodes ago? Like these were people, right? Aren't they still people?
But not
Getting mixed
our
message
people.
here, Uncle Daryl.
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
As we go through the tower initially, we get this cool like horizontal sweeping shot, right? This single cam sweeping shot of like this one floor, and then I love that cool trick where you see Father Gabriel with Kelly, and then he kind of loops back around and like tells Diane to like do watch and stuff like that at the end of the shot. So it's anyway, but the first three people that you see in the sweep are. It starts out with Judith walking across the screen, and then it pans to Lydia petting the cat, I think. And then Negan kind of just walks. You see this, and I didn't notice this until the fifth watch. Negan walks in for a second, stops, has the possum in his hand. You actually see the possum. And then the camera moves on. Yeah, I really didn't notice it. And then in the next shot is Gabe and Kelly doing sign, you know, and then obviously Alden and Aaron are doing it early or whatever. Luke and Jules, you know, Luke's got this thing that we still don't know what it is that he's working on. I assume, and this is what I'll just put it out there, I assume there's got to be a way for Luke to communicate with Eugene, maybe? That's the only thing I could think of.
Maybe.
Like, what ideas do you have on this one? Because I have no idea.
I had no idea. Luke's a music teacher, so I assumed it was some sort of musical instrument for entertainment. I didn't think it would be anything of actual use, I guess.
Now, take a stab in the dark, Carol. What do you think? What could it be?
Yeah.
It could be some sort of communication tool just because of the fact of keeping in touch with like Eugene, and also because he is a music teacher, maybe he has experience in things that have to do with recording or things like that, you know.
Or like speakers.
Potentially. Right, potentially.
I also don't 100% trust Jules yet either.
That theory.
I'm not so sure. Where did she come? I mean, she was at Oceanside. Why is she there?
Well, I don't know if you noticed, like in terms of geography, though, it seems like the tower is in between where, I guess, let's just say Alexandria and Oceanside, but it seems close to Oceanside. I don't know about you, but it's definitely on the way, as we see the cat
definitely on the way.
Yeah. I mean, the whole reason why Beta's actually able to find the tower is because he sees the cat going across their path, and he's like, and it the cat. But Jules, yeah, I don't know, man. By the way, the actress is hysterical. She's going batty in as we're quarantining.
Oh no!
She had this. I put this in our stories actually on Squawking Dad. She plays because she's Greek, so she plays this Greek person, and she's drinking, and I forget what the drink is called. But her name is Alex Gambati. It's hysterical.
Hello, Xeni. Hello, Americani. I know everyone is looking for the honey sanitizer, so I show you the Greek honey sanitizer. It's called Tsipuro, and it's only authentic if it comes in a bottle that had something else in it before. Tsipuro is a Greek moonshine, so what you do is you take a shot. It's very strong. It puts the hair on your chest, but me, I am Greek, so I have already the hair on my chest. You take your shot, and then you put some on your hand. There you go. Tsipuro, the hand sanitizer, and medicine. Bravo, Sue.
You want to know another person who takes this to a whole other level?
Brianna Vinskas. Go to her. If you go to her Instagram, she's losing her mind too. And I feel kind of bad. I think she lives alone. And she's really losing it, but I'm enjoying it because it's extremely entertaining.
I think this is great for her
She put
portfolio.
googly eyes. Yeah, she put googly eyes on everything in her refrigerator.
She put googly eyes on all her knives.
Yeah.
So it's like in a rack, on a
She's
magnetic
got
rack.
googly eye crazy. Yeah, it's hilarious. I don't know how she's doing these videos all chopped up the way that they are, but I'm not that talented, but they are hilarious, and I'm watching them all.
She's literally blocking the scenes. She's literally indoor camping. Indoor safari.
Yeah, she is. Yes.
All right, guys, there is a lot to see out here, so I'm gonna hit the trail, see what I can find. I'm ready. You have got to see the view from up here. It is insane. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's a waterfall. I found some wild berries. I'm gonna eat one. What is this, a hot spring? Oh, it's so hot. I kind of went off the trail. And I don't really know where I am. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, found my way back. Just gonna take a little break at camp. What is that? Is that a bear? Close the door! Close the door!
Yes! Oh my god, that one was freaking hilarious. House of Venskas.
All right, House of Venskas. But her name on the show, though.
Beatrice.
Oh, Beatrice, yes. Thank you. From Oceanside.
She also played from Oceanside. Yeah, she also played Agent Piper on Agents of Shield.
Who? Yes.
This chick has a lot of time on her hands. Like, she's really losing her mind in quarantine. Like, I'm just looking at some of...
I'm so glad you're looking at it right now. I'm glad you're looking at it.
Funny.
I love knives have googly eyes on them. That's really funny.
Just after Princess scares the horses, Eugene says to Ezekiel not to be a naysayer. Nay, like a horse. But as he's talking about the time window, when Josh McDermott has to actually explain it though on Talking Dead,
The joke.
yeah, exactly, not to be a naysayer.
Oh, that's sad.
It was kind of sweet though. He's adorable, and he's pretty good looking too, by the way.
So I can't believe I didn't have this thought before, but obviously there's a team of writers, right? Do you think that there's one who writes just for Eugene? Like, his lines are so well prepared, and he just delivers with this like he actually knows what he's saying, and I just love it. But like, who writes for Eugene?
I almost feel like Josh McDermott mostly writes those parts himself, like those little.
Yeah, maybe he contributes. Yeah.
You think so?
Maybe after so many years, like, you kind of know the character.
Okay, maybe at this point he's doing that. Okay, all right.
Except when it's something that we pick apart. You know what I mean? Like, you have to say this, Josh. You have to say this because this is like a little thing that ties into that thing, like maybe the Blue Weevil thing that we were talking about that I still haven't figured out. But I can see, I can see him mostly doing himself. But I mean, if anybody, would probably be
that would be awesome.
Yeah, it might be Kevin Diebold though. I think it's Diebold.
Okay.
I don't think it's Diebold, but anyway,
because it's D-I-E.
Yeah.
D-I-E-B-O. Yeah, I would say Diebold too.
Yeah. He and I have been like having a little bit every time we live tweet, like he and I have a little back and forth sometimes too. Like between me, he, and Kirsten Acuna, like we just have this like three-way. It just doesn't sound any better the more I try to explain it. Sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, not sorry.
We get it. No, we get it.
We get it.
I think the only time I like almost cried was during Lydia's scene.
Damn it.
Watching Lydia struggle with what was going on might have been the hardest thing to watch this entire episode, because I think we could all feel what she was going through. I mean,
She was tortured. It's a tortured feeling of it's the only mother you've got, like you said. You only get one, like Negan said, which is the sad truth, unfortunately, for a lot of people. It's like the parents that you're granted are the parents that you're granted, and that's it. And she, she was not by any stretch of the imagination a good mom in the sense of like that was not a healthy relationship. She's very conflicted. She doesn't have any parents. Her father's dead. Now her mother's dead.
Her father was murdered.
Her father was murdered by her mother.
And she only figured that out in her teens.
Right.
Or something.
Which took her some time to even come to that point of realization. And then, now your mother was murdered, but you're there's a part of you that's like, good. There's a part of her that's like, it needed to happen,
And I think that was the part of her that she was struggling with. Like she was happy about it, but she was sad at the same time. And both parts of her emotions were mad at the other side for feeling that way. But it's totally understandable and expected. And I think normal, I really liked the way Negan was kind of poking at her and pushing her. And he knew what was going on. He could see it all over her face, but she needed to come to that and realize that herself. And she needed to kind of, break down. She needed to break down. She needed to know that it was okay to grieve her mom. Like it's okay to be sad.
Because you can see her. You could see her going, I hate myself for loving you.
Right.
Having even an inkling of remorse.
Negan gave her that permission. She's your mom. No matter what happened, she's still your mom. And it's okay to be sad. She's gone. It's okay.
I think that's why I wanted to bring up the sweeping scene too, because the way these people enter into the frame too, Judith coming in, Lydia on the floor, Negan standing upright. You see the stages. You see like innocence, you see confusion, and then you see Negan, like self-assuredness, but like being the adult.
But he's a very good reader, always was, and he always said that he could read people. He knows the human element.
I mean, like it's literally like innocence, honesty, and like and just intuition. Like all these three people are the same though. All three of them have conflicting emotions, mostly on the side of Lydia, but like Negan even says it out loud. Honesty meets honesty. Like there were things that I liked about her. He did not hold back. Like he gave himself permission. He gave himself permission to be brutally honest with her. So like there were things that I liked about her. I hated the things that she did, but there were things I hated. There are things that I liked about her. And I know that's messy. I'm telling you, I know that that's messy. But I can at least admit that. And I'm sorry that I had to do what I had to do. But I still grieve, I'm still upset about that. Why can't it's what's obvious to us is not obvious to them. It's like they feel like, am I a bad person because of this? Negan doesn't have that entanglement. Negan doesn't get wrapped up in that shit.
I almost feel like if Lydia showed sadness about her mom, then everyone around her would start questioning her loyalty to the rest of the group. Like, is this, if I let people see me grieving, are they going to question my place here?
Right. Because she had to do that so much. But she had to distance herself so much from that behavior. And look what it still got her beat up badly.
Right.
Yeah.
And who was there that time to save her? Again.
Negan.
Yep. Negan was there.
Negan wasn't Negan.
Negan being yeah, these characters are quite similar because they are on the outskirts of everything. They're the outcasts, and so they can relate to each other, and it would make sense that Lydia could open up to him and grieve with him because he would be the last person to judge her. He wouldn't question what was going on.
Well, all three of these people, like Judith, Lydia, and Negan, all three of them are trying to feel like they don't belong. Like, who do I belong to as a daughter now? Now that everybody I know is gone, or everybody that took care of me is not here anymore. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And Daryl kind of makes that clear later. And he said, like, again, the topic of honesty comes back when Daryl comes back around and he says, and Judith is like, you're not going to leave me again, are you? And he goes, no. And she goes, you promise? And he goes, no. Because I'm never going to lie to you. I'm going to be as straight to you as I can be. Like, if something comes up, I'm going to go. But just because people go, the people that you love leave, doesn't mean it has to break your heart. You know, you can keep going. People need you and you need people. But bringing it back to like Lydia, all she really wants is to belong, and it's so fucking complicated for her. And then Negan, well, Lydia kind of lays it out right there. She goes, yeah, you know, the others kind of wish she died. Also, yeah, a little bonus. Yeah. Can they just throw you in there as well? The way you threw all those doctors, you know, in the fire, right? Why not?
Right. Why do you have to bring up stuff from the past?
Exactly. I only just thought of it now.
God.
Guys, I'm stuck in the past, everybody.
Jesus. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about Glenn.
No, that was last week.
So, that was last week. It's fine.
Yeah.
You'll be proud. I backed up our boy Negan for you. I played that. I played a really. I think you were playing the opposite side of that, like not forgiving Negan. Was it Rachel? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were like kind of like sparring just a little bit.
Okay. Doing that dance.
But I was the Negan apologist.
Yeah, he definitely was. And I've come around, like I can recognize Negan as an asset. He is useful. I see his value, but do I trust him? Hell no. Nobody should.
On that we agreed, by the way, because you really put it quite well. It's like, he's got value, but I wouldn't keep my eye off him.
Yeah, I think you definitely always have to, like, you know, keep your eye on him, but you had a prime opportunity when those whispers basically, like, you know, bent the knee and were like, you're the new alpha. Like, he had a gun in his hand again.
I'm glad you're here for this part, because I had a rebuttal to that, and I think this would be right up Negan's sleeve, and I am very curious to see your take on it. So that whole situation, right? I said the same thing. I said Negan could have killed Daryl, taken over the Whispers, been the leader, done all. He could have done that, but he didn't. He saw an opportunity to prove to Daryl that he could be trustworthy. Now, to me, this sounds like a Negan long game. I'm going to earn their trust now, so later
I can collect.
Maybe, possibly. I mean, he very well could be like thinking long game, like, you know, I don't want to be like living in squalor with these freaks. Like, I'd rather kind of like, you know, I'd rather kind of work that angle over here on this end and like maybe kind of like work my way back up to the level of leader, you know?
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. Why be the king in hell, or why be the king of the dunghill when you could be well, you could be at least like middle management in heaven or something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who said that? Why serve in heaven when you could rule in hell? Was that from Little Nicky?
It's it's probably even from scripture. Who knows?
Interesting. You should look that up.
Yeah.
Why serve in heaven when you could rule in hell?
But I know it's been used a lot.
Yeah. Or different variations of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'll say, as far as the weather forecast on that front, it doesn't look great. Like, he has to pull another huge move. Like, if he, and this is the thing, like.
The huge move will be when he saves Daryl from Beta. Like, something's going to happen. He's going to be involved in the takedown of Beta in some form. I don't think that he'll be the one to do it, because he already took down Alpha. I think to Daryl to be the one to do that, but I feel that he's going to be involved in some way, shape, or form, because I don't know.
I feel like Aaron's going to be stepping out with some pretty heavy swings pretty soon. We haven't seen him do a whole.
I've been feeding you that for weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, you're absolutely right. Like, we see him, but he hasn't really. And he's keeping everybody together and everything. But Aaron deserves some big badass scenes. He does. It's coming. It should be.
He's been saying as much in this episode, by the way. He's saying, "I'm ready to fight for Adam, for Gracie."
Oh yeah. See, there you go.
Like, if you're not listening,
Yep.
then you don't know that's going to happen. Beta and he. Mano y mano.
Beta and who?
But, did I say
Aaron.
Beta and Gracie? That would be hilarious.
Did you?
Oh my God. Beta and Aaron?
Beta
and Aaron, yeah.
There is some backstory.
But I'm so
to that.
cute. Anyway.
No, there is some backstory to that in the comic. But Beta's ultimate death, I think, is pretty anticlimactic in the comic. So I don't think that they're going to do it that way. I think they'll definitely change it up, because when they kill him in the comic, it's like, really, that's how it's going to happen. All right, well,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, the
it
whole
just
Whisper
wasn't-
War in general kind of came to an end in a whimper.
yeah,
Like that. It was like, what happened? Oh,
Yeah.
Commonwealth? Okay. What about Whisper?
Right.
Okay.
the storylines start to kind of overlap, and then
Yes.
the Whispers thing just kind of goes off like Rachel was saying, like with a whimper, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that's a wrap with that then. All right.
Right.
You know, I think that Negan and Daryl will definitely have maybe something to do with Beta, but I could see Aaron playing a part in that too, because Aaron is there. I think he's going to get some big screen time. So he has a cool arm. Got to see that
Maybe-
arm more in action.
Aaron's going to punch Beta in the face with his Pokeball and then rip the mask off. And
Sorry.
everyone's
Yeah, and then he'll be like, oh my God, I used to listen to this guy. Yeah, it'll be like Phantom of the Opera.
Or like his eyeball is stuck to it though, like one of the spines.
Oh.
Faith, reward,
And he's gonna be
Pokeball.
like, I knew this guy. I used to listen to his stuff all the time. Yeah.
This eyeball looks familiar. Oh, gross.
Yeah, I could see Aaron having his moment for sure. I mean, we're not going to talk about the teaser, but obviously
Yeah, that one.
there's a lot I could say about that teaser, but I'm not
There's a
going to.
lot that we're not gonna say because we got to make this very clear.
Yeah.
As much as we want to talk about teasers, we're gonna save it. We're gonna put it in a jar. We're gonna talk to you next week about it, all of it. Fear the Walking Dead.
I haven't seen it yet.
You didn't see the teaser for the last episode?
First. Nope.
Really? Oh, then you need to see it, because that, personally, to me, I was more excited for the teaser than this episode. Like, this
Really?
episode was fine,
yeah,
but when I
yeah.
saw the teaser, I was like, holy crap. Like,
Yeah,
there's-
but how did it not break your heart to watch that going, when will I see this?
I know. Well, it gave me something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But you don't know when. There's
I
nothing
know.
to look forward to when you don't know when.
And I hate saying this because everybody has a different reaction, but like Maggie's return is teased. Like you do
Right.
see Lauren Cohen.
Which I
I
thought
saw a
was
picture of
interesting-
her. That was it.
And I thought that was very interesting, because I thought they were gonna sneak her up, and it's like, and they get here, and it's like, oh my God, Maggie's here, whatever. But it's no, they're not leading with that, but they're definitely putting it on the table right there in the teaser to kind of be like, yep,
One of them, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So-
that's them going, please don't leave us. Look, we have good stuff coming. Please wait.
It looks good to me.
But you know what? I'll tell you what. Like, and this is all I'll say, and I will bring this up again when we talk about this next week. But when we talk about teasers, the reaction wasn't as great from the fans as not that I would have hoped, but like would have expected.
Really?
Yeah,
To see Maggie?
yeah.
To see
Really?
Maggie specifically, or the teaser in general?
Maggie specifically.
I could see that.
The teaser in general, everybody's like, what? Oh, what? Oh,
I think
what?
more
Maggie.
people, I can totally see that, because the appearance of Maggie in the teaser was like, oh wow, okay, cool. But I wasn't like, there was another aspect of the trailer that I was more excited about. And you know what aspect that is.
Yeah. The person with the weapons and the thing in the face. Yeah.
Yes. And the Iron Mask.
We will spin yarns about that because there's just so much to this outfit.
I already know it's one of two people in my mind. And if it's not one of those two people, I'm going to be pissed.
Will the real Dante
no
please
idea
stand up? No, I'm kidding.
I have no idea what's happening.
The most wonderful way.
The most
In the most
wonderful way.
wonderful way.
I love it. Your shoulders are squared so appropriately. It's Carol from the future. Anyway.
I need a great sweatshirt.
Oh boy. Yeah, a light blue flower sweatshirt or something. Yeah.
Something.
That line is from a monologue delivered by the character of Satan in Book 1 from the epic poem Paradise Lost.
Oh, of course. Yes. Dante's Inferno and all that. Yeah.
Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven.
Oh, that famous Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino movie that I love.
I know which one you're talking about.
Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, yes.
He does mention that at the end, yeah. It's timeless, though, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I'm watching that tomorrow, hands down. Oh, yeah.
And we're all of a certain age, too. Like, we're right at around college.
I'll probably watch Constantine, too. That was another good one.
That's in the same, that's in the same vein.
The same realm, the same realm. Back to tearjerkers, though, like, no joke, I was, every time that scene with Negan and Lydia came up, all 5 times, uncontrollably, just get me, I would just uncontrollably sob. It was so fucking crazy. Aww. She is so good. And just, what's really fucked up about actors is if you can get the other actor to start tearing up, that it's just the domino effect. You see Jeffrey Dean Morgan kind of like, he's like whimpering a little bit, and you see a little, just like the corner of his eye start to tear up, and it's like, fuck you, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I'm sobbing uncontrollably from this. Right. Fucking Cassidy. She's amazing, though. She's such an amazing addition to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I applauded her right in my living room. Yep.
Man. I mean, I can't believe it. Like, I've watched 5 times, every single time, it just gets me. Like, suddenly. It's like not even like, I know it's coming, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Fuck you. God damn it.
Like, you can feel like you are building the emotion with Cassidy McClincy as it comes to that bubbling point, and then she just, and then like you feel like you can just,
yeah. Well, how many times have you felt like you feel like shit for feeling a certain way, but like you can't help feeling what you feel?
Yep.
That's me every week on this show. I wish that Carlin was here, because we didn't actually talk about this, but like we do see that brief scene with Carol saying, "Dog keeps the cats away."
Mm-hmm.
Basically, right in the beginning, everybody was like wondering where the fuck is Dog, and now we know. And it's like this brief, and you barely see the dog in it. You see the back of the dog. It's interesting because like Dog keeps the cats away. The cats are away. They know where home is. That's how Beta finds the tower. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because of fucking Dog. But I don't want to talk about that because that's upsetting me. What's really interesting is the cat that stays. And, of course, is trying to belong. The weird cat. The cat, odd cat that stays even when the dog is there. It's like Lydia and Negan. There's something to that. Like I was trying, like in the beginning, like I hadn't even noticed it at first. Not really. And this is like right before Judith and Lydia's conversation. I'm like, okay, what is this whole thing about this cat that won't go away? And does that mean the mice will play? Does that mean that Beta will play? So there's a lot of shit going on here about people not belonging, being honest, and then telling the truth. Princess, etc.
I heard several people make mention to the plan. Stick to the plan. This is the plan. But we haven't actually heard what that plan is, right? Well, they evacuated Alexandria. That was part of the plan. But we don't know what the end result. Well, the result would be to get rid of the Whisperers. But like, how? What are those steps? We don't know the rest of the plan.
Right.
I didn't miss it, right?
No, you didn't. And like the thing that really got my goat was like Daryl was explaining to this whole thing, not the whole thing, but he was like saying, "Oh, I got this plan. I think you're really gonna like it." And I'm like, "Okay,
yeah.
Can you share with me?" I mean,
share with the rest of the class.
Here's the thing that bothers me. This is the only thing that bothers me, and it's not a huge big deal. Remember All Out War, and then Rick had this plan, and we saw the plan being executed, and we were like. And Rick didn't even follow his own plan. He ends up going after Negan, like in a car, like in the middle of this like little town, and can't aim for shit, and whatever it is. We went through that whole thing. We did mention Morales like a couple episodes back with Kirsten Acuna, right? And like that 2-second thing where I thought like, okay, Rick watching Daryl murk Morales, like I thought something was happening there where like Rick was going to see, you know, what we're doing is not okay. That, you know, he was one of us. Maybe he was a person once, you know, like Daryl was trying to teach Judith. And then like nothing happened from that. In fact, like he just didn't learn, or he didn't, I felt like something was there and they just didn't stick with it. So I'm just, I guess I'm not so afraid because I feel like, you know, Angela Kang is here. I'm sure they've scripted this out really well. Like they script out the Carol character throughout this entire season. But like, I just want this plan to actually work because we do know, I feel like in this, I'm leading up to this, I feel like we do know somebody is going to die pretty brutally by Beta. And I feel like it's going to be Alden. I feel like they're faking it out and it's going to be Alden.
No, that would not
instead
be,
of Gabe, as you've been saying.
If they do that, then they would have really wimped out because the actor who plays Father Gabriel,
or Rosita's still around.
Rosita, I am convinced is getting Andrea's death in the comic. I am convinced of that.
Okay, let's circle back to that, but let's talk about Gabe and maybe Alden.
If Rosita does take Andrea's death, then that is a part of something. Remember, Carol? Like that would have to be going on in order for her to have that death, which would be part of the plan that we don't know about yet.
Right. Sorry.
We know.
That's good that I don't know. I really don't want to know, actually. I mean, but the because I kind of don't want to see it coming.
But the actor who plays Father Gabriel has said, because it's obviously a well-known death, he said that he relishes it. He thinks like the way Glenn basically kind of embraced like his comic book death. He was like, that is epic. I want that to happen to like my character. I want it to be done the way it was done in the story, like, because it's, you know, so over the top or whatever. So like he basically has said the same thing. So I'm like, this is going to happen. I mean, there's no way that they're not going to have this death happen. It's just a matter of who. And they did try to fake us out by calling this episode The Tower. That's a
yes. That was such a tease, man.
That was a tease because that thing happens at a water tower. So when I saw the episode was called The Tower, I was like, oh.
And we did see it.
And then before that, we look at the flowers. So we're already expecting death. Then you say The Tower. Like, I'm with you. I thought the same thing. I thought it was coming this episode.
And they rhymed, too. They rhymed.
I was just like, okay. Yeah. And when it's like, oh, yeah, it's the Tower of the Hospital. I'm like, that's a stretch. You should have just called it the hospital then. If you're calling it the tower, it's not. I mean, it's not a tower. That's very. It's a hospital ward, and actually, it's the same. Did you know that it's the same hospital where they did the Grady like hospital thing? Like back in what season was that when Beth died? I don't even remember.
5.
Yeah, but I was like, you're teasing us here. You're calling this episode The Tower. So before I even watched the episode, I was like, whoa. And then it's like, oh, no, okay.
Again, I kind of like what they do with the comics viewers in that respect, though.
No, I know what they're trying to do.
There's always been this thing with like the comics. It's like, you got to troll them a little longer. Got to troll them so hard. So hard.
I love it.
Oh, so I've always loved it because I didn't read the comics.
I'm not mad at it. I think it's funny. Like
I know some people that are.
I'm like, touche, funny. Haha.
They're so good.
You know?
I mean, if we could predict everything we have ever predicted actually happened, we'd be bored out of our gourds.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want everything we're saying to happen. That's why they're just theories, you know? So, when they can keep us guessing like that and we have no idea what's coming, I love it.
I do think that Rosita's getting Andrea's comic book death, too. Especially because Rosita's in that new Selena show on Netflix. I was like,
I think it's a miniseries, isn't it, though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, I don't know.
It seems, okay, this is the stupidest thing to latch onto, but like Kelly having that little Band-Aid, that exactly where Andrea has it in the comic book. Like, we could say she got burned there or whatever it was. It could be like a scratch or whatever, but it could be a scratch, like a deep one from a walker, maybe. We don't know. And it just seems like, okay, that big speech with Carol, it kind of, the little monologue with Carol kind of sounds like a goodbye almost too. So
She didn't still have that on, did she?
she
Did
did.
Kelly still have the bandage on?
In the cop car, or whatever car it was that they took the wiring from, the little mission for Luke.
Yeah. She did still have the bandage on?
Yep.
Okay. I just did. I like I said, I only watched it the one time. I'd pay closer attention on my second watch.
We might get like a quick reunite with Connie, and then Kelly goes. Which, by the way, like speaking of Angel Theory, I've been watching Zoe's whatever incredible playlist, whatever on I think it's NBC.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched that one too.
I can't stop watching. It's just so good. And Angel Theory is on the last episode, by the way. She's one of the backup dancers.
I haven't watched the most recent one yet.
It does involve somebody singing a song in sign. And
awesome.
And she is one of the dancers in that episode. It's not an important role at all. Like it's like a background role. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see her in something that wasn't The Walking Dead also. That's
really cool.
Yeah.
I like it when The Walking Dead invades the shows that I watch.
It starts infecting.
Then I feel like it does, and then I feel like all right, by extension this is also in the Walking Dead universe.
Oh, it is. She survived.
Well, did you see my post today about what Nick Gomez? He was in the second to last episode of Criminal Minds.
Oh, really?
And for all 15 years, I have a whole list on my phone, and every time I watch the show, I see somebody else. I have a list of over like close to 15 people who were on The Walking Dead that appeared on Criminal Minds. It's a lot. There are a lot of actor over between the shows.
A lot of runoff.
I think we pretty much beat this episode to death.
Yeah, in a very roundabout, like sticking pot shots at it kind of way. Like some of the bigger points I wanted to drive home, like the Rick comment from Judith, like in a ditch, she must have had family, that sort of thing. I wanted to bring that up because that's what she was really talking about.
Right.
And so there's a lot going on with her, and I wonder what kind of big role she gets to play in the last episode too, because I feel like it's coming.
Maybe she kills Beta.
Could be. I mean, and that's a big choice. That's a big choice. A big swing too.
She could do it. I mean, she'd really only have to shoot him in the head with a gun. As long as she has a gun, she could do it.
That would be very interesting. Could you imagine?
And very unexpected. I mean, Beta wouldn't expect it. I mean,
right.
Like
that'd be cool.
He sees the hole in him, and he sees a shot with the hole through his body.
Right. Yeah. Although it wouldn't be the first time she fired a gun at him, so maybe it wouldn't be the best tactic.
Right. Well, this time it took. Where's the chest plate now, motherfucker? I did want to bring up only one point. It's something I brought up last year. Now, remember when we were talking about the addition of Connie and Kelly and sign language and everything like that? I had said last year when we were covering this stuff, I said it wouldn't be the craziest thing if somehow sign language was the key to winning this Whisper War. And I feel like the chickens are kind of starting to finally come home to roost on that one. So we are seeing sign language being used in this episode. I feel like whispering versus sign language, sign language wins. So we could see some sort of connection there as well.
Yep. We see people learning to sign, so definitely useful down the road.
But just particularly being the key to winning this war. It could be. And again, we'll have to see. So we'll see you in a couple days when we talk about the trailers, because there's a lot to break down, from Maggie's return to a new weird character with weird weapons. Who is it? We don't know. We'll go into it. We'll go into the Fear trailer as well, because that is absolutely fucking bananas. It looks great. People who hate Fear are like, Mama, watch this one. This one looks pretty hot. No, seriously, people, it's crazy. And we'll talk about the TWD universe / TWD World Beyond trailer. That might be coming sooner than we expect. We don't know. Apparently, there's also a new TV show featuring Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Hillary Burton Morgan next week, Friday night at 9.
Friday night with the Morgans.
Yeah. Yeah, so catch that. Cool. We'll see you guys in a couple days. And in case you hadn't noticed, there's this little thing in the corner Support the podcast. If you give us coffees during the premiere, you will have seen the little alerts come up, and you would have seen a doodle-doodle, and it'll be there forever in the podcast. Your support gives you access to exclusive content. When you give us one-offs, it's 30 days of access, but if you give us a subscription, the good times keep on rolling. Also, rate this podcast at ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. 5 stars and an eggplant, and we'll understand exactly what you're talking about. Also, if you haven't liked this video, what are you doing with your life? It's quarantine. It's just an extra click, Come on, guys. But anyways, I've been David Cameo. There's OG Squawking D Carol G. You got Rachael Burt. What else do you need? We'll see you in a couple days. We'll break the trailers down, and hopefully this whole business with the coronas that goes away very soon. And until then, bye guys.
Bye.